Hold on.
Hello. Some of you may have seen our newscast. Now we'll show you behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, seasoned newsmen who can bring the 24-hour happenings into your living room firsthand.
That's a cold intro.
Yes, it is.
Culture.
That's that Tribe Called Quest vibe right there.
That's a cold intro, man. Shout out to Donovan for that intro, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's get right into it, bro. Let's get right to it, man. Y'all was cooking in the Discord yesterday, and y'all was cooking during that last podcast that y'all recorded. I got a good 2 hours, man, to really address a lot of stuff out here, bro. So first things first, man, like along the lines of what y'all were saying the last time y'all went live, man, just the convo that y'all had overall about culture and entertainment, all of that, like that's our bread and butter, bro. That's our bread and butter. And the very first topic that I want to address on tonight's episode, you see the ticker on the bottom. Guess who's not invited? You see the ticker right on the bottom. And this episode is called The Cookout. In my opinion, bro, with Juneteenth right around the corner, summertime right around the corner, I'm declaring 2025 the year where the invites to the cookout are permanently canceled.
Ooh, all of them?
Canceled.
No exceptions. Like we ain't giving out special passes like Mary from Sinners. No
and she was one of us. She was one of us anyway.
She was passing.
I mean, listen.
I still debate, but yeah, she's passing.
So listen. This is what I want to figure out here, right? The all or nothing approach as it relates to this culture war that's going on in entertainment. When you make exceptions, at what point do exceptions become the standard? At what point do we get to, all right, well, you get an invite. You get an invite. You get an invite. And then the cookout doesn't look like the cookout no more.
It comes down
3 minutes in.
Good, good right question.
Right to it.
Because we gotta have gatekeepers, bro. Like legit gatekeepers that know this person's cool, that person's not. And there has to be multiple checkpoints. There's just not a one-time checkpoint. All right, you can go. No. Do we know that he's like the phone call? You remember the phone call thing that you did about Hollywood? You call a person, this person legit? No, click. Hey, is this person legit? No, same method. Same method.
Okay.
Do you know him? Nah, I don't fuck with him. He can't come.
So
click.
Like, my bad. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No. That's all I got, brother. Like multiple checkpoints.
Because the way I'm looking at this, I'm really thinking, I'm really putting a thought on this, man. Like we've been around, like we're all in our 30s. We've seen the evolution of entertainment culture basically becoming urban culture. Every part of urban culture, the entertainment culture, just in terms of slang, fashion, all of it is encompassed.
It was ever popular.
Everything that's ever been relevant. Everything that's ever been relevant has its roots in urban Black culture. And it'd be silly to deny that, right? So I want to try to get to the bottom of this. We've all been around different people. We've all traveled. We've all had different experiences. But this culture that we occupy, this thing that we were born into, this is the only culture universally where there is a culture of acceptance. We're the only culture that has the mythical invite to the cookout. There's no other culture that issues an honorary membership into their thing of theirs the way that we initiate others into this thing of ours, to borrow a term from The Sopranos. Right? Am I reaching?
Nah, you straight.
I will say openly and publicly. I think people get invited to the cookout, but they just don't openly and publicly admit it.
Okay, but what
I
is
said we're a little bit more open, friendly, and loud about it, while other people are like, yeah, you can come over to the house, like
okay.
quiet.
So let's get to this here, right? I've never been invited to a quinceañera. That's a real event. I've never been invited to a bar mitzvah. Have y'all?
Nope.
No.
Granted, though, I don't have any Jewish friends.
Okay.
So I mean, there's that factor. So you got to be real about that. But still, by principle, nah.
I mean, these.
I've been invited to some things by Mexican people. So
okay, but I mean that's
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
That's your other side of your family.
Yeah.
So you're saying
by bond, not by blood, but
okay, yeah. and that's dope. I'm just trying to figure out what the cultural equivalent of inviting somebody to the cookout is for somebody else, because all it takes to get an invite to the cookout is literally somebody putting a t-shirt on.
No, dancing like a black person,
right? The governor of Michigan put on a pair of Cartier glasses, and every comment that was under that clip was, "Oh, she's invited to the cookout." Word?
Yeah, the lowest common denominator became like in the late 90s that you got to do something that's black enough to like earn the respect. Either you do a dance, you hit a freestyle like Harry Mack or whatever. It's like, oh snap, you got bars. You got to do something like that. You literally got to do a performative wowzer or a zinger,
right?
Or also like just hand them out like candy,
right?
So then we carry that over to other aspects of entertainment. We carry that over to the coded character conversation. Like we carry that over to initiating Sonic the Hedgehog during Black History Month. It carries over, like, you see what I'm not making this up, bro. Like, it carries over to like making blog posts and TikTok videos with Skeeter Valentine in the background,
or Dragon Ball Z characters dressing up in Supreme, which clearly is imitating black people.
So,
but Goku isn't black though. And why are you a black person dressing like Goku? But
well,
Goku
I mean,
dressed like you though.
Yeah,
or you know what? Let me see if because this I saw. Go on. I want to further address this, but
because in February of last year, CS3, like, we caught a lot of heat on this channel for dispelling and speaking out against some of that coded conversation.
Ooh, I don't even be seeing people's
we got bombed in the comment section,
man,
for that convo that me and D Smith had, and I just want to get an understanding of it, because with us being a little bit older, we kind of are of that generation where even though we enjoyed certain things that were outside of our cultural bubble, we still were culturally centered. I'm not going to say pro-black.
I just wanted to bring up some evidence.
Go ahead.
Because all these fools, damn it, is it coming up clear?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's Dragon Ball Z, but they're the dream team. But all these fools are mostly not black though, right? But they can pretend to be black, right? For this picture though, right?
Right. Because we like Dragon Ball Z, and that's fine. Right. Like, all of us enjoy that. But along the lines of what I was saying, we came along in a time where throughout the 90s, 2000s, even though we were into things outside of, our bubble, you know what I'm saying? Everything that we did was still relatively culturally centered. There was no mistaken identity. It's like, I like Dragon Ball Z, but
I'm still black.
And that's a Japanese product. I just happen to like the Japanese product. but I'm not just going to homogenize or blend my culture into theirs because that's not what it was made for. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Toriyama. But Toriyama did not make Dragon Ball Z for a black audience. And it's okay to say that.
That's the truth.
There's nothing wrong with saying that. But when you say that out loud, there's a disconnect of, I think, people who are a little bit younger than us that take that as an offense. They take that as us saying something about them in particular. And like, I don't know. I don't understand where that disconnect is at, bro. Because I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't think they really caught it, bro. They hung around too many non-people like us. I'll say it like that. I'll say it like that. They hung out with too many people who were not of us, and so they believed that they were something else, and they still believe that there's something else.
CS3, you agree with that?
To some degree, yeah. And like, it's funny because like I need to have more of these conversations with like the, younger generation and kids that I know to like get a little more perspective, because like you think about it, it's like the integration, especially like if you from like an inner city like school environment and like you're like coming up in like this like very diverse mix, and depending on the mix of the percentage, like you definitely gonna get a lot of that influence to where it's like, I'm not gonna say you're blinded, but you don't see it because like you're in it. You if you grew up in the 90s like with like a good mix of like you got like your Hispanic kids over here, you got your white kids over here, you got like some of the Asian kids over here, but we're all together. But like we understand that there's distinctions, but we're together. You can't necessarily have the context for what discrimination is in the sense of like what was faced back in like the 80s, 70s, and 60s. Because like, oh, this is just the standard. This is what is. This is my paradigm. This is my worldview. Now, other people have different experiences where it's like they could be in that same era of growing up, and maybe they got like more of a lopsided percentages. So they experience a more acute perspective of like, discrimination or bias. The reason why I say all that is because like, yeah, I can understand where like some of this generation is coming from, but it comes from like, again, just like the way things are, like I grew up in DC. I remember back in like, early 90s, like just the waftings of like coming from like the 80s crack era, which again I wasn't around for, but it's like you could like feel like the aftermath, the remnants of that, and the flavor of what that left on for DC. Kids who are growing up in DC now, that means nothing to them because that's not a thing. They can read about it. They can read about it on a wiki post, but it's like they don't understand that.
And it's a joke. They kind of make light of it a little bit, right?
And exactly. And it's like, why wouldn't you? I'm not saying that like you should, but like, why wouldn't you when this has no applicability to me? This doesn't touch my life. That has no practical application for me doing something about it because it's something that I never experienced and will not experience.
Okay. So let's
apply that to what we're talking about now. So
yeah. Right. Because in my view, I feel like I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm not.
I can be.
I mean, we all have our quirks and our thoughts on things and stuff like that. But there's a part of me that feels like for the ones who are coming up, younger than us, the younger generation behind us, I feel like they haven't really been given much to
say it.
Okay. To the younger generation, pro-blackness or cultural centeredness, even though that's not a word, the internet has turned that into something negative. You're a hotep if
cool. You see what I'm saying? You're chicken and diamond cool, or you're like the equivalent of a coon that wears a dashiki.
Well, like it's now you'll get memed to death and kind of shamed. You'll get hotep shamed a little bit if you express opinions that are a little bit too radical or rock the boat a little bit too much from what people are used to.
Dr. Umar Johnson proselyte.
Absolutely. So like that, some of that is a little odd to me. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
And I don't know, like I don't know. Some of that feels like it's intentional.
Of course it was, man. Of course it was. I'm about to say, come on, brother. Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
Okay.
We all know it. And
Right.
the ones
So
that don't are lambs and will easily be slaughtered.
no, because the thing that's weird to me is that even in this era, the most pro-black person on the internet are who? Tariq Nasheed and Dr. Umar Johnson. And no one takes anything that they say seriously.
At all. They're just memes.
Well, the problem is they're not authentic enough. I'll take the bullets. I'll take the bullets.
Well, no, I'm just trying to think on that.
Man, you don't know they've been labeled as sellouts for a while. They're both looked at as sellouts, and they use this as a grift.
Okay,
there are people's equivalent of those white pill people that do videos all the time and are considered grifters by a certain group of people. I'll say it that way. By a certain group of people.
Certain group of melanated people, or just in general?
Yes. Yeah, no, melanated.
Because I never got the vibe of grifter from Umar Johnson. I just feel like he's been on the internet for so long that now he doesn't take himself as seriously as he did previous.
His school was a grift, and it got proven that it was.
Oh, okay. See,
you didn't know that? Oh, my bad.
No.
My bad.
And
Yeah.
I mean, even with Tariq Nasheed, I know that some of the things that he says is pretty extreme, but I don't know if people don't take him seriously because of what he says or just because, that's the nature of the internet. But like, if I'm young, if I'm a younger person, 15, 16 years old or whatever, and the people who I'm supposed to look up to that are in my community are just being memed to death and not taken seriously by the overall zeitgeist, it's going to be hard for me to take them seriously. It's just a weird situation. Whereas the things that you identify would appear cool. Anime is something that's cool. These characters that are not real people from a different culture that appeal in a certain way that have that cool factor are much cooler than somebody yelling at you on the internet about bunny hopping and all of that, right?
Right. No. You're right.
That's a whole nother subject, and I'm not even trying to dive into it, but it's like I would love to have a discussion about, and I feel like I'm gonna be making a meme almost in this, but with Lupe Fiasco's album The Cool. What is the cool? How do you define the cool? Is what
we
you
can get to that.
See, smell, taste, touch.
So
where's the cool based off of popular? I don't know, because I always thought about that. I had this in a way kind of making fun of them kind of joke towards women, where it's all right, when you say something is cute, why is this cute? A bunch of the white girls up in Minnesota when I used to live up there, they'd be like, oh, old people with those little kind of chubby ears, oh, they're so kind of cute. Wait, why are they cute? Why do you find old people cute? I get babies are cute. Okay, so you have this little jar of Vaseline, it's in your little pocket wallet or whatever, you find that cute. Why? Okay, because it's small, petite, why? The mathematics don't add up. Maybe because I'm just a guy, I'm just a dumb male with no sensibility. But I wonder, it's these things that don't necessarily add up to me. Okay, that's fine, it's all relative. But when it comes to the cool, we think about, okay, what strikes as cool? We think of images all going all the way back to James Dean. We think about okay, obviously hip hop. We think about the 90s era, Tariq Trotter and those dudes. It's that's cool. Jay-Z, that's cool. Why is that cool? How do you define cool?
Can I add on to that?
Go ahead.
In the 90s, though, the contrast to that is that your Tribe Called Quest is, right? Your De La Souls, your Queen Latifahs, everyone that was on the conscious side of hip hop culture, in their time, they were also cool.
Yeah.
All of them were very cool. Jay Dilla, Farside, X-Clan, all of that Black Power 90s shit was cool. It was cool. Even though it was conscious, it wasn't the gangster rap, it wasn't flashy, it wasn't glorifying the life of excess. In that time, it was cool.
Was it okay during that time? That wasn't the dominant thing, right? Because you just mentioned like gangster rap and all that. Like during that
It was
time,
balance. It was balance.
Okay, so it was even. Okay, because
Yep.
like I'm starting to because okay that takes my theory out the water. Because now I'm thinking like is cool is what the majority is popular. That's what we got pop culture. That was kind of like my metrics for measuring what is cool. Is it because everyone else is following it? Because everybody's swayed by it? Like that's why Taylor Swift has the most amount of fans like ever, even compared to Beyonce. Is that what makes her cool? Because she has so many. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like what makes cool.
In the modern day now, in 2025, what's cool is determined by someone else. What's cool is determined by who the most people who are watching it, because none of these motherfuckers are cool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. None of and I'm
You're
not
telling
trying
me
to
that like Jake Paul knocking out like a geriatric black man is it
no,
cool?
no.
You're telling me that's not cool?
And I'm
You're
just
telling me Mr. Beast making his own like Hunger Games like game show isn't cool?
And to say this, brother, I respect anybody out here that's getting. I respect how people can get a bag. I'm the last thing I ever want to be is a hater towards anyone that's getting a bag and taking care of who they need to take care of. But all of these people are fucking dorks. I'm being honest. Like all of these people are dorks. Literally the most uncool people that you know of. There's like everything in this culture in modern pop culture in 2025 is fucking corny, bro. Corny has become the new cool. As long as there are people watching it. As long as there's people watching it. You mentioned a James Dean, right? You said that the image of cool, Humphrey Bogart, and these ain't even brothers that I'm talking about here. Frank Sinatra, right?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
These ain't even brothers, but there's a cool factor that some of them had just in the way that they carried it. I could never picture someone like Frank Sinatra doing any of the goofy shit that you see on Instagram. Could you imagine Frank Sinatra with an Instagram account?
Hey, I mean,
they
like,
stand as if he was still alive. Yes,
if he was still alive, I can see it in the same way that like Sylvester Stallone has an Instagram account. In that vein, where it's like, hey, I'm gonna utilize it. I'm not of this time. I'm not of this generation, but like, hey, I'll make a post here and there.
And I don't even want to name names, but like Kevin Hart is a very rich, very famous individual. But do you think Kevin Hart is cool?
He corny unk status.
And like, hey. But hey, listen, that man, he taking care of his family and he got the bag.
He got the bag from like making short jokes, self-deprecating short jokes.
Right.
True.
Like Charles, brother Charles over in Africa right now hates Donald Glover. He is not a fan of Donald Glover at all, bro.
He didn't watch a single episode of Atlanta?
Nope. He couldn't do it. He could not do it. In his view, he thinks that because he can't get past the things that he thinks are corny about Donald Glover, objectively, he can't watch Atlanta.
Dang. That's tough.
And to keep it a buck, I don't even like to assign the term corny to other black people. I don't like doing that, bro.
Unless you do some small shit.
I'm not really a fan
or some real stereotype Oreo stuff.
Nah,
I don't know, man. I've seen a few Buck Wild ones. I'd be like, bro, where are you coming from? Did you just come off a truck, a cornfield, or what?
I gotta keep it a buck. Like some of that makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't really like talking. I don't really like getting into that with our people. I don't like doing that, bro.
I know, but bro, some of them. So I'm with you on that, but some of them be a little just.
Okay, so I had this theory, and like it's very wrong. I mean, I'm just gonna be off the bat and say it's very wrong. But like, all right. So for instance, take hip hop specifically with breakdancing. So like, you know, someone like the like OG like b-boy competition and stuff we see like on like early days YouTube, whatever. Some of the dopest stuff out there. Obviously, like, you know, it's spread into mainstream to where it's like, look, we got like a movie out of that. We got You Got Served, we got Stomp the Yard, you know, our stuff. And then
got that bullshit at the Olympics.
Yeah, and then it got to the Olympics, and they said, all right, cool, never again. You will never have this again. Y'all Negroes like couldn't carry yourselves. But basically, you know, then it spread over to like the main popular culture with like, you know, Step Up and the white breadification to where they could like palate it and taste it right.
What was the other joint?
Whatever them joints are.
Save the Last Dance.
Save the Last Dance. Bring it on. All them joints is like, all right, how can we like turn Living Single into Friends? That's essentially what it was.
Oh yeah.
But when I think about like specifically with breakdancing, I remember there was a specific era. I forget like if it was like early 2000s or a little before that, but there was this specific like dance movement coming out that I despise. You know what it's called?
Harlem Shake.
Crumpin'.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did that out in the Bay. That was the Bay Area.
Yeah, Crumpin'. Essentially, like look up crump dancing. Like
I think I remember the name, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
You're a little younger than us, D. Smith.
The basic way I can describe it is like ugly, just gyratic. That's not even a term, but I was saying like gyration and erratic, just mashed together. But just movement, just like raw, nasty energy. And I'm like, what is this like unchoreographed, unkept, just like.
But they did that out in the Bay Area.
Yeah, but it's like I remember I had some friends like, oh man, why you hating on it? It's like crumping to me is what dudes who couldn't pop lock and who ain't smooth enough to like do windmills and flares are trying to do. It's like, yeah, look at me and my energy. That's what it felt like. It has like all this like pick me, like I'm mad and I'm angry at the world energy. Yeah, so I'm cool now. But and it's wrong because it's a bias. It's a very biased, you know, subjective view. But like that's how I felt about it. That's what it felt like. So that's when I think when it comes to like culture and whatnot, some people, it seems like that. It's like, I act this way because like, I missed the boat. I can't like, I don't have the skill set. Not to say you have a skill to like have a certain like way you present yourself. Like that's just being fake, but it's like just the way you carry yourself. It's like, man, like that ain't me and I can't get into that. So I might as well kind of forge my own path. Kind of how I feel about mumble rap. I don't know if this is the truth or not.
Yes. That's what mumble
rap
like, was. A bunch of kids
that spit bars. I can't have these complicated, like, you know, nicely choreographed, like lyrical compositions. So I'm just gonna say something that sounds like blah 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 blah, blah. And just my thing because I can't do that. Look, I'm not trying to touch that because like that's too high of a bar that I don't want to go for. I'm not interested in that, so I'm just gonna do this, and this is my thing, and it's just me. That's how I felt about mumble rap, where it's like, yeah, I ain't trying to have like, you know, these overly complicated triple, quadruple entendres like Lupe. Nah, I don't want to deal with that. That's too complicated. How about I just like spit some together, and me and my homies call it dope, and this was cool.
Yeah, but I think with mumble rap, it was more about the production than I think the actual lyrics, though.
What do you mean specifically with like the beat making and the?
Like mumble rap was carried by the production.
Okay,
yes, I agree.
Hands down, carried by the production.
Would you say that for trapping too? For trap rap? For trap music?
I say that as well.
Yes, and I have an issue with that. I have an issue with calling it trap because like when T.I. was rapping and Jeezy was rapping, it wasn't trap music. It wasn't the genre of trap. It was just hip hop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like trap kind of came as a result of crunk, and I don't know, bro. Like I liked
that
it better.
Crunk era was funny but weird.
I mean, it was, but Lil Jon was that dude, bro.
Yeah, he was a club banger.
Man, that Crunk Juice album was fire, dog. Crunk Juice was such a fire album, bro.
What year was that again, Uncle Jack?
That was 04, 05.
Okay, so that's what I was leaning somewhere between there.
Yeah, but like with trap, I kind of feel the same way. A lot of it is production because as far as a lyrical standpoint, like none of those dudes rap better than T.I. or Jeezy or Gucci. None of them rap better. It's all about the production and just putting it under the umbrella of being trap, pretty much. But we sound like old assholes right now. Tearing this shit down.
I mean, we speaking our truth.
Right, because with that genre of music, it's a little bit different. When Jeezy said trap or die, like that was from the perspective of the actual lifestyle he was living at that time. Either I'm gonna trap or I'm gonna die. One of the two. If I don't get up and sell whatever it is that I'm selling on this street corner, my life isn't gonna be productive. When T.I. says he's making trap music, he's making the kind of music that he'd want to listen to while he's in that dope house or while he's in that environment. Now, when you say that it's a genre, people who don't even like Justin Bieber can make a trap album now. You know what I'm saying? Lil Pump had a run with that Gucci Gang bullshit because it was trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, along them lines, we're kind of speaking a lot of these things here. I think that's what a lot of people, you know, not to hate on Drake, because I know D Smith, you don't like Drake, but I think that's what a lot of the issues people had with him were. It's not that you're making certain types of music, it's that we know that you're not of the culture that you're trying to rep. Yep, you don't have the authenticity to try to make some of the kind of music that you're making. But I mean, what's real in this world, bro? What's authentic?
Okay, so I just actually heard something recently because like I don't listen to this dude, but like MGK, like Machine Gun Kelly, apparently he's going to pop now. Like he's done after like the Eminem roast. He's like like rap served its purpose, got my platform, I'm good now.
I mean, he ain't the only one that did that.
Right,
exactly. But the case in point or the question is, where do we distinct the line between like, oh, okay, you know, people switch things up. You know, Beyonce, she not doing like her country album and whatnot.
Yep.
She didn't really like touch into the hip hop era side of things, but like pop and everything. But it's like, you know, people switch it up. Same with actors, like, you know, they do their own like different genres. Like, you know, Denzel, you know, is a man of many trades. Like he's been in everything. He's been in action. He's been in drama. He's been in some comedies. He's been in horror. It's
been
like
on Broadway.
Okay, yeah, Broadway. It's like Shakespearean like level stuff. So when it comes to like authenticity of creativity, we kind of give some allowance for that. But it seems like, and I don't know, maybe this is me like stretching this, but it seems like in our culture, we're trying to push that even with like, well, actual culture. Like, you know, people can like, kind of like a trans culture. That's kind of feel weird saying this, but like a trans culture, like type of like experience. Like, yeah, I kind of like play around with different cultures. Like I come here, I come there. Even if I'm not a culture
like that
vulture, I just like to dip my
shit?
toes in it, man. I like to.
I'm transracial and shit.
Transcultural, yeah, transcultural.
Like I don't know who the fuck said that, but someone once said I'm transracial.
Hold on.
Who was that?
Oh,
we don't do that here.
Who was that? Rachel Dozer who did that?
Somebody. I don't even remember.
Rachel Doziel, and again, right? She got that off because of the culture that she was, because of invites to the cookout, because this is such a welcoming thing that we have here. Someone can do that with no repercussions. You cannot wake up tomorrow morning and say, I am Korean. and knowing damn well that you don't have a Korean relative going back 1,000 years. You can't get that off. But someone can wake up tomorrow morning and say, I'm black. I have black children. I went to a black college. I have black friends. I'm black. You can't say that I'm not.
There's someone out there say, I beg to differ.
Hey, listen, I agree, but there's never, you watch The Sopranos, bro. There's no thing of ours. There's no thing of ours in terms of black culture. There's not. I hate to put it that way, but We
What
really
do you
got
mean when it's not ours? They're like we have and then no one's appropriated, or
yeah.
we just
When I say that there's no thing of ours, like there's no, like D. Smith said, there's no barrier. There's nothing. Like we can accept all people. We can be friendly. We can be cordial. We can be non-prejudiced towards people. We can be good people towards other cultures and all of that stuff like that. But there's no separation. There's nothing there culturally to protect us in the way that other cultures are protected. That's my opinion on that. Like that's
why
just
do you
my
think
opinion.
that? Why do you think there is no protection? You think it's like a in-house thing?
I
Or
think
mixture
it's
of something.
I think there are internal and external factors.
Agreed.
I think internal and external factors contribute to that. And that's just me trying to be as objective as I can.
No, I can agree with that. I definitely have had white friends, both like in person and on Call of Duty. It's like, hey man, like why you tripping, man? Like, listen, I say nigga because like, look, all my black friends like, dude, man, it's cool, man. It's just a word, Charlemagne. It's just a word, man. It's like, just say it. It's all good.
Nah.
Easily invited to the cookout. They the folks who would have been like that character in the center. It's like, come on in. Come on in. Killed everybody.
Right. But it's gotten to the point now where a person can invite themselves to the cookout.
Only by their words don't mean that they show up.
It's like that's some nasty work if it's like, like pushback.
One day to say it, another thing to do it and see what happens.
All right. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's to the point where a person thinks that they can just invite themselves to the cookout, right? Like you just said it. You've ran into people and come across people who think that because somebody else gave them a certain clearance that they have it with everybody. Like in my time active duty in the military, like I've had near scuffles with people just to try to just to get a point across. And I'm not even a violent guy. Like I'm not somebody who, I don't try to be a tough guy, you know what I'm saying? But just for standing on principle and getting into these misunderstandings with people, I've almost had physical altercations just to let somebody know, like, hey, you might have got that over there, but over here, we're not doing that.
Gonna catch this twisted T to the face.
Like we're not doing that. So I think it's a two-way street to answer your question. It's a two-way street. You remember that scene in The Sopranos when they was all in the basement and they got, they took the oath, they got the finger, they pricked the finger, burnt the card up and all of that. And after they were done with it, it's like, this is ours. This is our thing. Nobody else can be a part of this. Where is that at? And I'm being a little bit dramatic by using that example, but that doesn't exist over here, bro.
It does. The problem is not enough of us do it. Okay. And I'll leave it at that. Don't worry, brother. The tide is changing. Give it time. Give it time.
You think we coming back? Because like it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Sadly.
So that's what I mean. If a couple of lambs got to get slaughtered.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Let's get back to that. When you say generational,
think about this. It's like, I'm assuming. Well, actually, no, I don't want to assume. I don't want to say that. But like, do y'all know how to cook?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Where'd you learn how to cook from?
Oh,
mom, dad, big brother, grandparents, aunts, uncles.
Okay. So pretty much like an experiential thing that you had,
the adult influence.
Experience.
Yeah. Okay. My adult influences. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Would you say the same thing for you, D. Smith?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Same for me. I've definitely delved into like learning some things on my own, but it's like, again, cooking, being able to fix certain aspects of my car, definitely through my dad.
Oh man, you're getting sniped. All right. Yeah. You was breaking up for a second. Keep going, bro.
Uh-oh. They don't like that realness. But yeah, like things like that. It's a generational experience passed down thing. Now, obviously, we live in the age where it's like, look, if I want to go look up how to like actually make a car, like by my hands and tools, I can look up like a 75-hour, YouTube video of how to do that. That's there. I literally have instruction books on like how to build a house on the internet for free. But overall, when it comes to like cultural stuff, like, look, man, I'm not too far from removed. Like remembering when it's like, back in, grade school, your parents would tell you, it's like, yo, it's like, you got to remember your history, because like, if you don't remember history, it repeats itself. You would hear that over and over, just drilled in your head, and be like, roll your eyes, I'm irritated. But like, as an adult, it's like those words ring truer more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we, these us 35-year-old going into 40s, whatever, some era, like, generation, we are at the front line right now. Like, yo, the new kids, if we not directly like engaging with them, they off doing their own thing. They're going on YouTube. They're trying to figure these things out. They're looking up the YouTube videos to get into like, the lowest common denominator of an explanation. They're going to TikTok to be able to kind of figure things out.
Yep. Talking to their friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which becomes sometimes an echo chamber. It either becomes an echo chamber or misleading.
Right. And hey, listen, man, you preaching right now, bro, because all of those are very, very valid points, man.
So that's what I meant when I said like generational, like from like kind of the passing down, but also like the connectivity.
D. Smith, you laughing, brother? What's up, man?
Nothing.
No, because I mean, it's cool. Like the entertainment talk and all of that is cool, but like I really, especially with Juneteenth coming up in a couple weeks here, like a couple years ago, you know what I mean, when they did the watermelon salad, they did the kente patterned ice cream, all of that, like shit like that, bro. It's like, who are you doing this for?
It reminds me of that episode in Atlanta when the white woman took off like the Jollof stand.
Yeah.
And like, oh boy, Lakeith Stanfield, he said, oh yeah, this is our new vegan formatted recipe. He ate that joint. He was like,
this ain't it.
This ain't it. He just threw it. And that was some best action right there. His face was that of like disgust, but utter remorse and sadness, like
guilt.
You just messed it up, and I helped you. Like you messed everything up, and it's just it's ruined.
So part of that is why it's a two-way street. That's another reason it's kind of a two-way street. But just to kind of back up a little bit, in hip hop, there was a stage where all of the gangster rappers, at least not all of them, but there was a time where a lot of the gangster rappers on the East Coast were they were modeling their rap styles and everything off of Italian culture, right? It was mafioso rap and all of that. So there was an aspect of that back in the day too. What's going on now as far as some of the Asian culture and all of that, even some of the old heads were co-opting Italian culture as well back in the day, and more of Anglo-Saxon type gangster rap on the opposite side of the conscious pro-black rap. You had people, Scarface, Nas's alias was Escobar.
Oh yeah, that's right. The crew, that whole thing. I'm glad that actually didn't pop off. But
yeah. Yo, you talking about the firm? Yeah,
the firm. I said the crew. Yeah, thinking of Luke Cage.
Yo,
the firm.
Damn, I was listening to Phone Tap earlier today too, man. But anyway, yeah, you had like Wu-Tang Clan. Every one of them had an alias. Like Raekwon called himself Lex Diamond. Yeah, he was Lex Diamond. Ghostface was Tony Stark.
Johnny Blaze.
Method Man was Johnny Blaze. So there's always been kind of an aspect of the things that we're talking about. It's not like the old heads didn't do it either. We're not anti-young people here. We just calling it down the middle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think they had a crew called the Wu Gambinos that didn't last very long.
Stop.
I'm not lying.
No, not you. I'm saying the whole idea of that. Just want to go like
right, because we've all seen The Godfather. Like there wasn't no black people in there. Every time they talked about somebody black, they're either animals, they don't have any souls, or they're niggers uptown.
Oh yeah, that's Sopranos. Like literally the episode where
sell that shit in the ghetto.
Yeah,
that's all I remember was sell. I don't remember all that. I remember that sell that shit in the ghetto. That's what I remember.
What you were saying about the Sopranos?
What's it called? Little Metal Soprano, his daughter, like was
listen,
no colorism involved here, but I gotta say, the lightest, unthreatening black dude ever. It's like 2% black in there, like the Key and Peele sketch. You couldn't even tell. And like Tony looks like, what's your background? It's like, I'm black. It's okay. And just making all like the racial slurs or whatever. And your girl did it just to piss off daddy.
Right.
But it's like in itself, in the 90s, that was like salacious.
Right. But what I just said though, does that take away? Does that make you not want to watch The Godfather anymore?
Nope.
Does that take away from your viewing experience of The Sopranos?
Nope, not at all.
Or even like Reservoir Dogs. The whole when they're in the car, the N-word gets passed around very loosely in all of Tarantino's films.
Movies, right.
Oh yeah, did y'all forget about Dead Nigger Storage?
Dead Nigger Storage.
Yeah. And Pulp Fiction.
I got you.
Fuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
That's your boy. That's Tarantino right there. Ice skating uphill. My bad, D. Smith. I didn't mean to cut you in the middle of your wisdom, brother.
He felt mighty proud of that shit.
Right.
Pulp Fiction.
And he feels like, hey, listen, it's a word, I can use it. By the way, my nigga right here who co-signs things, Sam Jackson, that's right, yeah. He's cool with it. So you should be cool with it, right? Right?
But because he went to the movies and saw Superfly, and then went to see Foxy Brown and Dolomite. Okay. Come on to this cookout, QT.
I was about to say that. Do you feel like at some point he got the invite?
Yeah.
Either he invited himself,
especially after Django. Nah. After Django, he definitely got.
No. But in his childhood, in his formative years, he invited himself.
He's from New York, right? He's from Jersey, right?
Yeah. He's from Jersey.
Yeah. So he was like, "Hey, man, like it's all cool up in here. I'm black. You're black."
Yeah, I saw Dolomite. You know what I'm saying? I know who Pam Grier is.
Tarantino thought he was Clinton before Clinton. It's like,
right. So again, with all that being said, just because I like The Godfather and I like The Sopranos, like I can't just pull up. You know what I mean? I can't do that, bro. I can't do that. I can't get that off. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Jackie Chan. I can't just
right. Can't just show up to his house.
What is the reverse? What is the reverse version, the inverse version of his scene in Rush Hour? What's the inverse version of that?
Wait, which one? Sorry, I'm just trying to make
sure. Jackie Chan, like if Chris Tucker did that in Hong Kong.
What's up, my nigga? What's the inverse? What's the inverse version of that?
Up, Chinaman.
It's not gonna hit the same.
It can't hit the same because like
either Chinaman or
nope.
Nah, it has to be something that's in their culture that they understand. Where it's like, yo, you on the outside.
They do.
Okay.
Chinaman used to be a slur.
It's a slur, but it's not one that's like. Okay, see, the interesting thing about nigga is that like it is both a slur, but also like it's a whole other topic. Like, the fact that like it operates on this like, hey, what up? It's the black head nod verbally.
We don't know enough about their culture.
Okay, but again, there's no there's no inverse. And don't I love Rush Hour. I love Jackie Chan, but that scene was written for a specific reason. Everybody who saw that scene laughed, and it's still funny to this day, right? It's still funny to this day.
Yeah,
but there's
the cultural implications of what that is and why it was like that.
But there's no inverted version of that. There's nothing on the flip side of that from our perspective to them that shows up the same way, that will hit the same.
I would almost say that for like any culture for us. It's like it's almost as if like we have the most unique, almost the only way or the
Yes,
only
sir.
like specific thing where that works like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There was a movie with Robert De Niro called and it's a horrible fucking movie. Terrible movie. It's called I think it's
Meet the
called Bad.
Fockers.
No, Bad Grandpa.
Oh yeah.
It's either is it Dirty
Yeah,
Grandpa?
I think
Bad
it's
Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa, whatever.
Okay.
Yo, I think I know a kid who actually wrote that script, and actually Hollywood co-opted it. I truly believe that, but that's another story.
There's a karaoke scene in that movie where he's on stage at a black nightclub rapping the lyrics to "Today Was a Good Day." He looks at the lyrics on the screen, freaking. Oh, can I say it? Can I say it? The black people in the crowd.
No.
No. The black people in the crowd are written. Hey, say it. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say freaking niggas every way like MJ. I gotta say today was a good day.
That's how I felt about like the final battle scene in the 8 Mile. It's like it's written for us like, yo, we support you. You in. You one of us.
But there's no inverted version of that. Doesn't exist. Does not exist.
Even amongst other races outside of us being involved. Like you notice like there's never like okay, so for instance, like you think about like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Obviously that movie's been done to death in different iterations. They even tried doing it with like, what was it? Like they had like a black guy and then like the Hispanic American Ferrera. Still the same concept, even though they removed white out of it. But it's like we're always involved. There is no, hey, guess who's coming to dinner? Like white dude and Asian girl. No, it's like, hey, you one of us. Come up in here. Remember, you the model citizen. You're the preferred minority. So it just doesn't work the same. Like when it comes to like race or culture wars, like it's black versus white. There's never a moment where like black is removed out of it. Black always has to be at the center of it for like the poster board.
What?
That was breaking up a little bit. My bad.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, you said for the poster board, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much like on the visual for it. Like if you want to like show a visual of racial tension, we got to be in there somewhere. We're never removed. We're never separated from the dynamic of racial tension.
The only example that I could think of where it wasn't like that was like West Side Story, the old one.
Oh,
not the Spielberg,
bro.
Right.
Okay.
But that's probably the only example that I could think of what Charles was just saying right there. Every other example is pretty clear. Pretty clear.
Yeah. And the truth is we're always coming out the ones who lose or getting hurt. That's what I hate about it. That's what is really the most diabolical part about it. It's like when it comes to like the tension, we're always losing. We're always like, okay, yeah, there was like a scuffle, whatever, or there was like this argument, but we're coming out the ones hurt. I mean, think about A Time to Kill. Obviously, the little girl, she survives, was great. And yes,
that
Sam gets revenge. And like, I'm standing up there as like a 8 or 9 year old for the first time, not understanding why. Like, just standing up, applauding, and raising my fist in the air. I don't know why. I feel this in my soul, but there's this vindication that yes, this black man who did something that's obviously wrong, he committed murder, but justly, got his revenge for the violation of his daughter. And it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm down for this.
Yes, they deserve to die and the whole day burning in hell.
Exactly. And there's a part of that, even when Sam did that, because like I felt like I couldn't imagine any other black actor in Hollywood. I'm sorry, they can like deliver that specific line the way he did, because like he was born to give that kind of line. Sam made his bones in his career for being the angry, screaming black man who's not just screaming, but he's intelligent and dangerous. One of my favorite movies with Sam Jack is The Negotiator with Kevin Spacey as well. And I love that movie because it's like, hey man, I got set up. I'm a good cop, but I ain't going out like this.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm not taking no for answers. Like you gonna do what I say.
That movie is so fire, bro.
Yeah, if that happened in real life, he would have been sniped in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's
got no leeway.
That's a classic Tuesday night movie of the week.
TNT classic.
right after Monday Nitro. That was,
yep.
You know what I mean? the special TV presentation of The Negotiator.
Old TNT movies right there, bro.
No, but you're right. Like, and I think, you know, another conversation that got brought up is that, with the exception, I think that Creed 1 and 2 are the only examples of movies that I could recall where the brother starts out as the underdog and is the underdog for the entire duration, and it works. I can't think how many other movies have you seen where that's a play? Because we done seen a lot of movies. We've seen, between the three of us, like there's a lot of film knowledge here.
This starts out as the underdog. I can't think of one unless there's like an actual like direct white savior integration into the film, like where it's like, hey, well, for instance, like was it the pianist or the celloist? I forget, the one with like Robert Downey.
The soloist.
The soloist. I didn't see that movie, but I know the highlights. But it's like that. It's like, yeah, he's an underdog, but it's like this dude is literally forcing him to do these things so that he can write like an article. It's messed up.
That was a nasty era. The era of like The Soloist, The Help, and The Blind Side.
Oh my God.
That was a rough era, dog. That was rough. Like that.
It's like,
that
hey, we're solving racism one movie at a time.
And it's like you wonder why they, and then they just let Tyler Perry creep in and just put an umbrella over all of it.
That was the pendulum swung all the way back in the wrong direction.
I respect his grind. I respect that man's work ethic. I'm not a fan of the work, but I respect the work ethic.
Yeah.
But you're right. The pendulum, that's where the pendulum went back, because, I mean, let me think on this. The three movies I just mentioned, I've never seen any of those before. And Green Book was also some bullshit too. That was some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, they says I can't play here no more.
See, that's the kind of stuff, like when I see that, when my third eye is like clearly open, it's like, okay, I get it. I understand nuance and, you know, the themes that like they're trying to present to me. And I'm very aware it's like, okay, this wasn't meant for me. No. I'm not the audience for this movie.
Right.
It makes me just want to go, like, I'd rather just watch Eastern Promises. I'd rather watch like a Russian gangster movie than this with Viggo Mortensen.
Yo, because like, but again, all right. So what the part of it that I don't understand though, and I'd like to get some help on this, is like when we went through that era of The Help getting Oscar nominations and The Blind Side getting Oscar nominations, it just had to make me wonder, like, does the Academy really like this kind of shit? Like, does this ticks off the boxes?
Yeah,
for them, yeah. That's why they do. I mean, what is the Academy is awards are given out by their peers. It's a circle jerk fest.
I mean, like, come on, bro. Like, the first one of these was Driving Miss Daisy. Come on, dog.
Nasty work.
Oh man,
nasty work. Oh, okay. So now let's talk about the Magical Negro. Let's get to that. Let's get to the Magical Negro. You know what I mean?
And you know, this term actually Magical Negro, obviously coined by Spike Lee, but it's like, think about this, that actually factors into like other movies as well, because like I like watching stuff on YouTube just to pass the time. This is why I'm obviously here. The Double Toasted podcast, I don't know if y'all watch them or not. Yeah, they do some good work over there. I like their stuff. Their movie roast reviews, hilarious, man. Had me like just falling on my seat for some of them. There was one they did recently. Y'all remember that like very weird 90s movie, Warriors of Virtue? It was like, you know, the dollar store bin of like, hey, Ninja Turtles is popular. Let's make Ninja Kangaroos a thing.
Yes.
Y'all remember that?
Yes. No, I don't know. I don't even know about this, bro.
I remember that.
You gotta on your own time, go and look this up, man. You will be on acid.
Hey, what is it called again?
Warriors of Virtue.
That was bad.
Warriors of Virtue. Imagine like live
bad.
and not animatronic, but like imagine Ninja Turtles, but instead of turtles, it's kangaroos.
It was bad.
Yeah. And it has the classic trappings of everything. But like, okay, we got your standard cuck, white boy with his like black best friend who's a loser, who has a bully,
What?
and then
I ain't never seen this shit.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
Warriors of
Oh,
Virtue.
and they look really like Ninja Turtle knockoffs.
That shit was bad.
But the point is, in the Double Toasted podcast, it's like it'd been a minute since I've seen that movie, but I remember the specific scene they brought up where it's like, okay, this white kid, he gets transported into like this magical land. How does it happen? He has a magical, and not instead of Negro, it's the Asian friend, because he's doing all the trappings of like he's mystical.
He's a wizard.
He's got these kung fu moves. Like everything he does is like very odd and foreign, and it's like a trope that you see in movies where it's like the white protagonist, in order to like get to where they need to get, they need the help of like the strange and foreign ways of this POC to get them there. I mean, I just witnessed it recently too, like with Yellowstone, because like when I finished it, towards the end, like wait, Uncle Jack, did you see Yellowstone? Did you finish that yet, or
I did. I haven't seen the final season yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna not spoil it, or just
I mean, it doesn't matter, bro.
Okay.
I already know that they got. I know that they. You know what I'm saying? They got
clapped,
John Dutton.
They got him. Yep. And it was kind of
He
nasty.
got smoked. He got smoked.
Yeah, he got wrapped up quick. But anyway, Casey Dutton, like his youngest son, he basically, since he's married to like the native woman, again,
he did his vision quest.
Yeah, vision quest. And that whole aspect is very reminiscent of like, again, white centeredness of, hey, I need to get to a specific place and I need your help. Your culture, your strange and mystical culture, because that's how they do it, versus us like, this is just normal to me. This is a Tuesday. Yeah, your strange and mystical culture is what's going to help me to get to where I need to get, because like this is beyond me. Like your culture, your way of thinking is so wild and exotic and foreign that.
So I need to smoke some peyote to get there.
I need to burn some sage and look for my wolf spirit and be on my way. But that right there, like in Warriors of Virtue, there was a scene where it's like he was like I guess he has like a random best friend or a random guy that like works at like a chef's kitchen.
Yeah,
instead of working like a normal chef, he's doing like kung fu moves to like cook things,
to cook
like,
the food.
He's doing somersaults
like Robin from Batman Forever,
bro.
Yes,
bro.
washing the clothes like that. Like
he in there doing roundhouse kicks, bro.
Yeah, but it's like that, and it's like, why can't he do this normally? Like, why does this Asian dude have to do kung fu to cook? so that whole trappings is like, how you get to where, okay, in order to get to like this magical land, I need you and your magical wisdom, your voodoo, your shamanism, hoodoo, whatever, to get me to what I need, because my plain white bread culture ain't about this, and we don't got nothing special. So yeah, that's where the magical Negro comes into place.
That one movie with Jackie Chan and Jet Li was exactly like that.
Yes, it was.
The Forbidden Kingdom.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
man, I rented that joint with Blockbuster before it went out.
Yo, by the end of the movie, old boy was doing kung fu better than them.
Right.
So I'll say they're okay. So and I like where this is going. So with that trope, with the magical Negro trope, like I'm thinking about movies like The Shining. I'm thinking about
I totally forgot about that.
And he went out bad too, man.
Again, Blackerface.
He went out bad. That brother went out.
And he came there to help them too.
Man, he should have
like victim of the circumstance.
Shit, you like nigga, you should have been smarter than that, man. I'm sorry, brother. You was like you got this power. You got this mutant power to where you can like nigga. You could have did that. You could have been doing all of this from the comfort of your home.
The Shining couldn't tell you. He's like, Negro, sell yourself away from Colorado. Why are you in Colorado? I like snowboarding, but even I wouldn't go there for snowboarding.
No.
Like, what are you doing, my man? Like, for real, bro.
You chose poorly.
You got Shining.
Like in Raiders of the Lost, or what is it? The last Indiana Jones, like, he chose poorly.
Oh, Last Crusade.
Last Crusade, yep.
Yo, I mean it, but yeah, there's a couple other examples that they're escaping me right now. But the fact that became a trope and then became a film that got a budget,
They didn't deserve to need to be a film, or at least not by the director who did it. Like, I honestly feel like, you know what, in the right hands, that could have meant something. Like, I don't think a Ryan Coogler would necessarily do that type of movie, but like in his hands, could have more value, like way more value.
Key and Peele should have did it. That should have been a
Now,
Key and
okay,
Peele.
would it been from like, because I get the movie is supposed to be a comedy, but it lent more towards like, we're trying to make more of a message that you don't necessarily get, like, you know, wrapped up in the comedy. But that's what it felt like. It should have been a comedy, but it felt like it was not really a comedy, if that makes sense. So I felt like if Key and Peele did it, it definitely should just like lean. It should just be one of their skits. It should have like leaned heavy into like just the aspect and bro, the commentary.
Like, what was weird is that there was like a blurred media push in support of that film, bro, which was I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of weird, man. Like all of these online kind of nerdy outlets paraded all of their black writers out to support that film. But it's like they can't write about nothing else. Okay. Anyway.
Right.
I can't think of too many other ones, but yeah, the magical Negro trope. And I mean, there's a couple.
Well, obviously the Green Mile.
Oh shit!
That's a big one. And again, he had to die for the cause.
Man, and they fried him. He got fried at the end of the movie, bro.
I feel like there's just like this thing in Hollywood, like just obsessed with the destruction of black bodies. Like I remember, like there was like this sister online who like wrote like an article, and I forget who it was. Like I feel like a lot of people know her, but it's the name escaped me. But it's just like, yeah, like there's this trope in movies where it's like the destruction of like black and brown people's bodies is almost like a flex in the storytelling, but also like it's kind of low key of a desire. Like it's like, I want to see this, like, or I want to experience pain and suffering, but vicariously through the way of those that are not me.
Yep.
Like I want to experience like the terror through someone else that I don't identify, even though obviously I'm not in this movie. Like for instance, like in what's it called? Quiet Place Part 2. Had to get Jaimin Hansu, you know, blackest, darkest, scary looking brother out there. You think he's like, okay,
and he was dumb as hell.
Yeah, he looks pretty seasoned. This brother's got to survive through. He's like, no, he's gonna take it out instantly. But also the fact that you can see this man, you know, scared white man, just like, you know, be able to move on to the next scene. That's what it's there for. The cannon fodder for you to be able to move on. It's like, oh man, that was close. Glad it didn't happen to me.
Hold on, what you said, D. Smith?
His motivation.
So, because I don't know, man. Like, it's shaky. A lot of it is shaky, and that's why I appreciate films like Sinners. That's why I appreciate, you know, things of that nature, because not only is it a good film, but you're taking something away from it, and you feel like, damn, I really needed that, or damn, like that's a new perspective for me, or, you know, I'm walking away from it with an understanding of, okay, this isn't just a vampire movie. It's not just a horror movie. It's not just an action movie. This is a complete film, but it's also telling a story with characters that I care about, and is pulling off giving a message about culture. The most important thing about that movie is culture. It just happens to have vampires in it, and happens to have some great acting and some great action sequences in it. But it's a story about culture, right? So, you know, but I don't know, man. Like there's a lot more that I'd like to get into here. And Brother Charles, with you being on the creative side, you know, you said you're work for hire as an artist currently, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so oh man.
Come on,
All
bro,
right.
get it.
Okay. So for you being on that side of the industry and kind of seeing how all of these things are coming together, what is the one thing that shocked you the most?
In regards to what is like a creative or like looking at the industry, and like what do you mean specifically shocked me? Like something that like I'm taken back by, or something that's
Right,
like, oh, I didn't
right. Taken
expect
back
this.
by. Because to me, I think there's a general sense of we have a black artist, so we need them to work on black characters. We need our
Mm,
black artists and our black writers to tell black stories.
yeah.
Have you seen some of that?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, so like again, going back like all the way to like 2022, and I say all the way back because like it don't feel like that, and it's not, but it kind of is because
Mm-hmm.
we on weird time. After 2020, time is just weird. But
Yeah.
2022, it felt like several decades ago. But
Right.
back in 2022, like as you probably are aware, like they had the Milestone Initiative program, which I was a part of. Like I was so grateful for that, man. I felt like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I won the lotto. And essentially, what that program was, it was basically like a fellowship. It was like a talent and development training program. And it didn't spell it out, but it was very obvious. It was like for black and brown creators. We even had a white token, bro, up in there. I'm not gonna say who it was, but like if you look at the lineup, you'll see. But like, yeah, we even had a white token because guess what? It's like it's for everybody. Anybody can join. But now we get to experience like, hey, what if we were the majority? But the point is, like, it was a great program. It was very sick. Like the whole like experience was like out of this world. Getting to like have top creators like who are working in the industry, like kind of shepherd and uh what's the word I'm looking for? Mentor a number of us. Like I actually had like a crisscross milestone legacy artist for like me and another writer for like the project we were working on. And then several other artists had other people. Like one person got Brian Azzarello for their
That's
stuff,
dope.
and it was really dope.
Yeah, that's
So,
dope.
but we got to meet people. We got to meet Reggie Hudlin. We got to meet Cowan. We got to meet Jim Lee. We got to take the pictures, all that good stuff. And for the most part, we understood that this was like a stepping stone. But I will admit, for a number of people, um, didn't get like a lot of chances after that, which really sucks. But they made it clear they're like, oh, nothing's promised. Like we're not promising you anything, but it's like this is something you can utilize. But with that said, for those of us who did get stuff afterwards, it kind of felt like okay. And I'm only going to speak for myself. Actually, I want to be very careful and tread lightly how I say this. But for me, now that I've done both work for Marvel and DC, or DC and Marvel now in that succession, I've been seeing the trend. It's like okay, I got a chance to do, my first thing after like the Milestone Initiative was we got the new talent showcase, which some of my peers, they're still selling that book, which is amazing. I'm really grateful to see that. And it's basically a compilation of like the talent that was a part of the program, being able to showcase their stuff, featuring milestone characters. And it's dope. And I got to do like a Ebon story from Static, the villain. It was a dope story all the way to the back.
Mm.
But after that, the one project that I had coming out the gate was a little one shot called Static Team Up with Anansi from like the cartoon series. It was the first time they brought the Anansi character from like the cartoon into the actual comics, and it was dope. And to this day, I'll always be grateful for that moment. But after that, even though I really love that project, the second thing that I got to do with DC, well, actually, technically, the second thing I got to do with DC was a untitled, probably will never come out Superman one shot that I got to do. And that will never see the light of day, but I got paid for it, so it's all good.
So why is it never coming out?
Because it's called an inventory comic, which essentially in the business is a comic that they have just ready to go in the can, just in case if like they need to slip in like something in the issue because hey, someone's late, someone couldn't hit a deadline,
Okay.
so there's a snafu in printing, whatever. It's like listen, this industry is like a fine-tuned machine, and they got things worked out to a T. So yeah, they call them inventory comics. Like hey, it's just sitting there in the can just in case we need something to just like put out. So proud to contribute. But anyway, the third thing that I was able to do for DC was the project that came out recently, which was the what is it called? I'm losing it. Power Company, or The Rise of the Power Company. And it was basically a compilation of like several characters. The one story I got to do was with Josiah Powers. Now, I don't know if you've seen the trend that I'm going with. It's like, okay, so after the milestone thing, it was that, then the Static one shot, then the Power Company, which is like, predominantly all black characters. Okay, cool. Then next, I was able to work on another little mini one shot, or not one shot, but like a mini story in like a compilation of other stories with Marvel. And it was a Storm comic. I was like, oh, this is dope. But again, it was under the Marvel Voices.
Oh my God.
Brand. Now, again, for me, this is how I look at it. I'm very aware of like this pattern. But at the same time, I'm also grateful because, hey, I'm still getting my name out there. I got credits on my name. Like I can go on League of Comic Geeks and it says, hey, I got more than 2 credits like to my name as far as work that I've worked on. I'm happy. I'm blessed. But I'm also aware it's like, okay, it's starting to look very pattern-like because now I'm starting to get like a resume where it's like, okay, it's being one-sided where I'm getting more of like the, hey, this is the work that I've done for the, hey, we need black artists for these black books. Which again, I'm not ashamed of that.
Right.
But I also like don't want to like get stuck. I don't want to get pigeonholed. I read an article actually recently, like this morning, about like Jenna Ortega say, hey, like I'm grateful for my career, but like I don't want to get stuck in like the young schoolgirl facade. Like I'm like becoming a young woman now, like getting into like my mid-20s. I don't want to be stuck playing like, a middle schooler.
And it doesn't help. It doesn't help that it takes 2 years in between seasons of the show either.
That's true. But the point is she's known for that. Either that or like a screen queen for like, like the macabre and the scary stuff. That's been her brand for these last couple of like, years for her career. And she's right. It's like, okay, I want to branch out and do other things. So for me, in this industry, you kind of learn, it's like, okay, well, you got to start making more noise. It's like, hey, like you got to ask your editors, like, can I start working on some other things? Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want these opportunities, like these, kind of like, hey, we need like a black artist for these black books. I'm not going to turn that down at all. And I'm ashamed of that. But I'm very aware of like what that looks like, from the optics. So,
and I'm glad you explained that because you gave us a chronological order of the work that you've been getting in the industry here.
Sorry to interrupt you, Uncle Jack.
No, you got to go ahead, brother.
But brother, like like Milestone, they just puffed with Milestone, right? Nothing else.
TBA. Or what is it? No, TBD. TBD. I'm gonna leave it like that. As much as I love when y'all chime in about Milestone, I love like being in the comment section. If I'm in this live, I'm just gonna say TBD.
Ain't shit, bro. Ain't shit come off since, man.
Because D Smith is disappointed.
I wonder why, huh?
You just look disappointed, man.
Yes.
And hey, listen, man. You talking to the man who like literally
all you did was prove all those people right not to believe in you in the first place. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, okay, I will say this. There is like a little shimmering hope that like may come about in like a roundabout way, but like it's probably gonna be way longer down the pipeline. But like, it's nothing's guaranteed in this industry. Nothing is guaranteed. I think about past projects that have been announced as like, oh, that ain't gonna be a thing anymore. Like, in Hollywood. Like that's how the entertainment business is. There have been several projects that I've like thought I was going to work on. It's like, oh, like we're going in a different direction. And it has literally nothing to do with me. It's just the fact it's like, yeah, we're scrapping this. And I can't do anything about that. So there's a degree of that as well. But I know it's a multifaceted hodgepodge of ingredients to make up the whole Milestone issue what it is. There is a number of things that we don't know and we're never going to know. Because we're not on the inside. So we got to be very upfront about that. We got to be mature adults, men and women. It's like, hey, there are things that like I'm never going to know. Unless like Jim Lee and Cowan, like, come out and make a formal announcement. It's like, this is what's going on behind the scenes, which they're not going to do. They're not obligated to do that. So we're not going to know. There's things that we could hear as far as rumors. There's things that we can speculate and put, our own mathematical tinfoil hat equations together. But that's all we have. So unfortunately, That's all we're left to like, really talk about, because like we don't know what's behind the scenes. So as someone who's like been in the quote unquote inner circle of the Milestone family and whatnot, that's all that we know as well.
Okay.
And I would like to say that like, oh, I got the inside scoop, but even if I would ask, I'm not going to get an answer.
Okay. My next question. Now, when it comes to work getting assigned, or can you ask for work? Like if you want to do a character, like a particular character, like is there any? Character. Yeah. Is there anything like that with y'all? Like,
so from what I've experienced, like pretty much like you have to advocate for yourself. Asking is how you get work. Now, I will say this though, with this current project I'm working on with Marvel, I did not ask for this.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm not grateful for it, but I did not get asked for this. I literally, actually take that back. Like I didn't even ask for like the Storm project either. It was by way of like one of the talent agents back in New York Comic Con last year. They like put my name in the pool of like, upcoming talent. And one of the editors saw my work and said, hey, I like his work, and reached out to me. So it was great. And then the associate editor who was working with that editor, who doesn't work there at Marvel anymore, they hit me up and say, hey, so like with the Storm project I worked on, I say, hey, I got another comic, would you like to work on? And so it's basically like that. But what I'm also learning is that you got to be, once you get to a certain point in your career, you got to be very upfront of like what projects you do and don't want to work on, and be respectful, be grateful, and be very like professional about it, but have a conversation. Say, hey, I would love to like stay in this lane. I would love to like start working in these type of things. And for me, my next move, like, I definitely like doing sequentials, but my next move is like, I'm just going to be advocating, from here on out, like to be able to do more cover work, because like the monthly grind, and I haven't even had like an actual like monthly, when I say monthly, like, month to month to month to month, 12 issue run. I've never had that. That's like a big test of like, longevity, endurance, but that's hard. It's really hard. But I do want to diversify my career and start advocating for myself to get like, other work, specifically cover work, because one, covers pay more, and two, you get to have a lot more time to work on them without like the deadline. I mean, there are deadlines obviously for covers, but like you don't have as much stress. Like I literally have been going to bed like 5 a.m. for the last couple of days to try to get this done, and I'm still behind.
That would explain why Junie Ba always does covers. That explains why.
So, and I mean, again, this is some great insight that you're giving us here. So,
and take all what I'm saying is like, as a guy who is barely in his like the beginning stages of his career. Like I've like since 2022, I guess you can technically say I've broken into like the mainstream big two. Obviously, I've been doing comics like longer than that, but like in mainstream big two professional comics, it's only been about 3 years.
I mean, hey, listen, and that's dope. That's fire, bro. 3 years and just going back to what you said, right? You're grateful for the opportunity. You're not gonna look at the opportunity and be like, no, I'm not doing this because whatever, right? You're being given the opportunity as a proving ground for the next thing that you might want to get into. It sounds like there's a little bit of give and take there, obviously, right?
It is.
Right. So what would be your dream project then? If you woke up tomorrow and you could work on anything that you wanted to work on within the industry, what would it be?
Okay. So it's funny, at Chicago, at C2E2 this year, one of my mentors, I guess I'll just say his name, Patrick Gleason. Pat Gleason, really great artist, worked for DC over 25 years. He's working in Marvel now. Obviously he's known for making his bones on like, Batman, Super Sons, Superman, stuff like that, Green Lantern back at DC. And, he's worked on Spider-Man stuff. Like he's pretty much been blowing up and known for like the Webhead series covers that he's done for like Spider-Man. Anyway, he's a really good friend of mine, one of my mentors. He was actually at C2E2 in Chicago, a couple months ago, and he actually told me that, hey, I guess I'll say his name here, but Ricky Purdy, he's the guy who gets, basically he's the incoming talent agent for Marvel. He's the guy to talk to like basically get your portfolio looked at and determine whether or not you got the chops to like, have a, chance and potential at Marvel. And so I had a portfolio review with him at New York Comic Con last year. And that's essentially how I got that Storm book. He was actually at C2E2 this year, and I didn't even know it. But like Pat had gave me a text like, "Hey, Ricky's here, and I may have name dropped you and hyped you up a little bit, and he may be coming by your table." And he did. And Ricky was coming by, and he's a great dude. He's a really awesome dude. He actually looks like I can't remember the actor's name, but whoever played Everett Ross in like Black Panther, the white dude, the guy who played Bilbo and
what's his name, bro?
Yeah, that dude. He looks exactly like him.
Oh man, yeah, yeah, his name is escaping right now. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that dude. But anyway, he's a really good guy, and he actually asked me the same thing, and I told him it's like, hey, as far as like what I want to work on, my kind of like white whale of like my dream project would essentially be able to do like an event comic. And I know that's like you got to be like top tier big league, but it's like, dude, like one of my biggest inspirations for coming into the industry was McNiven. Civil War was a book that like changed everything in regards to event comics. Like it was the defining event comic in Marvel comics, but all comics. It's the reason why it got adapted into a movie. Because like,
damn, wait, hold on, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother.
Oh,
wait. So over Infinite Crisis,
yeah,
and over
Crisis over Crisis.
Infinite Crisis, like
on Infinite Earth.
Yeah, here's the thing. Look. Here's the thing. As much as
I will say longevity, it has way more longevity.
Yeah, more longevity. But think about this: for someone who hasn't like read like, because honestly, as much as like I like DC more because I've read more DC, my comic reading career was like very short. I didn't start reading comics till like towards the end of my high school career. So like I was very, very fresh and coming in. And I'm not saying like I'm ashamed of that, but that's just that's my context. That's my experience. But when I
mean to interrupt you, brother. My bad.
No, you good. I literally came into like not knowing a bunch of things that have happened and gone on. It's like, oh, okay, I like Green Lantern. This is kind of cool. It's like, oh, what is this? Parallax? What's his name? Hal Jordan, like going evil. Like I'm just getting thrown into the middle of this, so I have no context prior to that. So when he talks about Infinite Crisis, like I was not introduced, or I had no prior knowledge about like these like multi-level, multiversal, like worlds colliding like events. So for me, that was a little bit overboard. That was like, that's a little too much.
And for me, Civil War didn't really have too much of that.
Dude, Civil War is the most like, it is the most palatable, digestible way of like having a bombastic like blockbuster. And just that's why it hit. That's why Civil War will be probably top shelf compared to Infinite Crisis, because like when you look at Infinite Crisis, like those like double page like spreads, like just like it's an art explosion of just like bleh. It's too much. Great artwork, like you got like George Perez and several artists, phenomenal, but it's like it's just too much. And that's not me saying that like you should feel bad for like liking it. It's just that like for the average Joe, you're gonna get them into like reading comics because you got them excited to read this like essentially what is a movie. You handed them literally like a AAA blockbuster, a Schwarzenegger blockbuster in their hands. That's what you did. So for me, that like because like on the DC side, I actually will say that like my Infinite Crisis, so to speak, experience was Blackest Night. And I came in the middle of the Sinestro Wars when I was reading that, and all of a sudden the bag is like,
"Hey,
Blackest Night is coming." I was like, "Yo!" So like,
Charles, you gotta move your hand, bro.
You're about to say your finger. You're about to say your finger on.
Not bad. The camera.
Blackest Night.
I'm on my iPads. I'm working.
Summer of 2009. Summer of 2009, bro.
Like,
Blackest Night was heavy.
Blackest Night was like, "Yo, this is my event." But then when I read Civil War, it was like, "Oh." That's what made me like, okay, I like comics, but now like when I saw this, I want to make comics. I want to do this. And I told it to everybody. It's like, look, there's plenty of great artists that I've been influenced by and I like, but it's like McNiven will always be the artist. Is like, I want to do this. Because like, okay, I'm gonna keep it a buck. My dad, like he had like comics, so like he would try to give me to read whatever. And they were like old school comics, but it's like that McFarlane stuff, that like, Mark Silvestri stuff, I wasn't into it. That like scratchy Witchblade, just like uber 90s, like
those things are terrible, bro. You can find those in dollar bins right now, 90% of those books are in dollar bins right now.
Yeah, it's like I didn't like that,
Those are
and even
books
back
that you
then,
burned. It was so bad.
back then I didn't even know that I didn't like that. I just knew there was something that's like, oh, okay, cool, comics. But when I read Civil War, I was like, whoa! It felt like watching a movie in four. It felt like watching a 4K movie for the first time. Imagine watching a 4K movie in the 90s. Like you come back in the time machine, it's like hand somebody, hey, here's Civil War, or not Civil War, here's Endgame. Imagine going back in the 90s and like, say like an older cousin's like, hey man, I got something to show you. He's like, what is this? Is this some weird like movies? Like, no, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna sit you down and play that joint. Your mind would just explode. It's like, what is this? Like, how?
I get
like,
what you're saying
I don't know
because
what I'm looking at.
your previous frame of reference is so limited, and then when you see something, I got you. I'm trying.
Yeah, it was like 420. It was 420p pixels.
And to be fair, like Crisis on Infinite Earths was cool. Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis by DC Comics is impossible to read.
Exactly, but on top of that, those other things you mentioned, you still need context for.
Right.
You still need context for some of the major players.
Right.
With Civil War, you have everything digestibly, like, you have the conflict and resolution just wrapped up in 7 issues, neatly and perfectly acceptable. Because you need no other prior context. Yeah, there's other things to tie into it, but overall, it's like I don't need to know about Speedball going off and becoming like, what is Penance or whatever. It's like I don't need to know that. I just need to know that, hey, him and his crew, they messed up, they killed a bunch of kids, and that's what set things in motion.
Right. You don't got to know about the anti-life equation and Vandal Savage and the Reverse Flash and Jay Garrick. Fuck that book, man.
On another level, really quick sidebar, those things are the most digestible in the cartoons because those are the things what made us into or at least me, fans. Like I know about Milestone via Static Shock the cartoon. That's the only way I was going to know about that.
Right.
Because it's done in a digestible way. It is, what's the word? It's a distillation of the highlights. It's the reason why I know about like the Alan Moore story of the Black Mercy with like Superman. What do you give the man who has everything? Like that, just based off that one episode. I was never going to read that comic because I didn't know about it, but it was right there on a cartoon channel that's free that I ain't got to pay for. That made me get into like, oh, I want to read the story now. Same thing for like what happened to Truth, Justice, and the American Way, Superman versus the Elite. That cartoon in itself is not as good as the comic, but it's still a great adaptation of it.
Digestible,
and that's why I will always champion for animation in cartoons. We need to get back to that. If anything, James Gunn really needs to start investing in that because that's what gets money. It's the reason why the anime heads are like a tsunami because they have the excellent translation from manga from manga to anime to even video games and back and forth seamlessly.
That's fair.
In spades.
That's fair. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
So, but anyway, going back to your original question, because I forgot to drill off of it. But yeah, in regards to like a Civil War, so Ricky, the talent guy, I told him, like, I want to do that. And I mentioned many times, like I've actually met McNiven several times, and I've talked to him. He's a really cool dude. But like I said, it's like, I want to be a part of that.
Real quick, give us a quick outline of what that, because you never really said what that would be. You say you want to do an event comic, so give us an outline of what it is and who would be in it, real quick.
Well, see, that's the thing, and this is the most important thing. It almost feels like with artists, a writer knows what you're getting in regards to like your talent, because like they see your portfolio, they see what kind of work you do, and a lot of writers like, oh yeah, I would love to work with this person, or they'll have an editor that like comes in and signs somebody, and they'll say like, I would love to work for this person, but it's like sometimes it's not in their control. But for an artist, it's kind of a crapshoot because it's not like we choose the stories. Like the writer is the one who chooses the stories. So you never know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get a Civil War or a Civil War 2. But like Civil War 2 has some banging artwork, but that story is pretty garbage.
Yes.
That's the one with who's on the cover?
It's basically instead of Tony, it's Carol Danvers.
Marvel?
She's the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's minor. It's basically Minority Report Marvel form.
Yes, that is the whole plot.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, Minority Report is a dope movie. I like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
it was handled terribly.
exactly, the execution wasn't handled.
Didn't finish it.
But like I said, the art is phenomenal. I honestly would get that book just for the art. David Marquez is like top tier. But the point is, like, I can only imagine, like, I don't know, like, what was going on behind the scenes with like David and he just doing his comic. But I can just imagine, like, hey, if he didn't like the comic, it's like either he has two choices. He could either just say like, I'm not interested and I'll pass, which some artists do and have done, or you just do it because it's a job. It's a paycheck. It's like, hey, okay, I need to pay my mortgage for this month. So
Right. So
yeah, so that's how it is, honestly. Like when doing a comic, and I say like doing an event comic, that's like my desire. It would be desirable to have like someone who's like cooking up some great heat. It's like, yo, I'm about to drop Civil War. Like Millar has been able to work with some of like the top talent out there. Like, you know, whatever you feel about the dude, he's made a wave. Like he literally again is like the pioneer for like
D. Smith is not a fan.
Not a fan.
I like him, but I like certain things from him. Like Ambassadors is have you read Ambassadors?
I have not. I've heard some good things about it, but
Ambassadors is good. Yeah. Ambassadors and Prodigy are my favorite by him. I like the idea of Wanted. The execution wasn't entirely there. The movie was a bit better, but his stuff.
I've never read the comics, so all I have is the movie. And like, yeah,
I know. I figure. Not a lot of people have read the comic of Wanted.
I mean,
it's basically The Boys.
What you said?
It is. It's very similar to The Boys.
Yes.
What, Wanted? Really?
Yeah.
Wanted, the comic book, is basically The Boys, but supervillains run the world.
Oh, okay.
That's basically what it is.
They
gotta check Ambassadors out, bro. It's basically what if a Korean woman made the Justice League using Silicon Valley tactics.
Okay.
So
all right, yeah, I'll check it out. Now, obviously, one of my favorites again. It's like a kind of easy, kind of like low hanging fruit, but it's like I like Nemesis. Nemesis should have been turned into a movie a long time ago.
Who wrote that?
Oh man, do we really need Nemesis?
Essentially, look, think about it. It literally,
bro, we have enough edgelord stuff as is. That's why we have Deadpool. I don't need to see another discounted version of Joker.
What if Batman was the Joker? But think about this.
Uncle Jack, by the way, that's what Nemesis is. He's literally, if you took the Joker and put Batman's costume on him, that's what he is. Yeah.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
I liked it for what it was. I enjoyed it, especially again. I'm very biased with the artwork.
No, thank you.
McNiven made it to like where I was watching a movie.
I mean, this is some good artwork.
No, without a doubt, but
for me, that's kind of one of those things that pushes it over the edge for me because like I consume visually, and that for me kind of gives me the experience that I want versus like the story itself. Now, the story is very important, so I'm not going to side-skirt that. But like, there's some things that where I'm like,
because he is, bro.
I mean, think about it. If this comic was made into a movie in the 90s, what would it be? It would be a Stallone movie. It would be a Schwarzenegger, like, you know.
Do we really? We already got Deadpool, bro.
Wait. What I get? What? My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We already got The Boys, bro. We've already seen good interpretations of the Joker. We got Deadpool. Let it go.
But
the question is why? Well, it's okay. Think about this. If you've had a slice of pizza from like Pizza Hut, what's to stop you from getting another slice of pizza but a different place? Like, but wait, I had this before. Does it taste good? Yeah. So what's the problem? I think that's the question to ask. If you enjoy the flavor,
because we already got Zack Snyder's Superman. Let it go.
I mean, listen, Man of Steel wasn't all that bad.
Yeah, Man of Steel wasn't bad, but like it wasn't him.
Bro, you don't know Nemesis, the character.
I don't know Nemesis.
And you don't want to know. You just saw King of Cringe, bro.
But the thing about Nemesis, what I like about it,
we don't need this in our life. No.
Well, here's the thing. Let me ask this, D. Smith. Let me ask this. Go back to like 2008. Imagine
We're
if
not
like,
in 2008.
I know, but I'm saying here, help me do the mental exercise.
No, fresh
would-
ideas. Let's go with ambassadors.
Well,
Let's
here's the
go
thing.
with,
Hold on. Go ahead, CS. Go ahead,
If
brother.
the boys in Invincible did not exist yet in 2008, but say Nemesis was able to come out, then I think we'd have a different feel about it, because it would be pre all this like, you know, immense immersion already. Because like we're tapped out. I get it. It's true. We're tapped out. That's the reason why we have the way that we're thinking about this. That's the reason why we're having this conversation, because like we've been inundated with, again, what if Superman was bad multiple times over and over again. I didn't even see Brightburn, but it's like I knew it was a hard pass for me. But I'm saying before all that, what if we had this? I think it would be an interesting take. I think people would like be into it, because like I'm trying to think of like another movie that's like, again, like very like extreme edgelord but still entertaining. Just on the tip of my tongue, I can't think of it, but like
I mean,
there was a time when we
Punch?
consumed that.
Yeah,
You said what?
Sucker Punch?
No, even before Sucker Punch. I feel like there was some movies.
What was the one joint with Billy Zane, bro?
I won't say Kick-Ass.
Was it the Phantom?
No,
Phantom was good. That wasn't edgelord. That's more like pulp.
Okay, Darkman.
Darkman was close to it. But
yeah, maybe like
was
that. But it's
so
like,
long.
okay, so imagine Darkman, but also mixed with Kill Bill, because again, it's got to have like the over the top action. Because like I'm imagining like in the 90s that Jason Statham's character, like he would be my ideal, but like he would be in the place of like the Nemesis character, and it's just like I'm just going around like effing things up. Matter of fact, no, that's exactly what his character was like in the Fast universe. That's what he was like. Yeah, remember he was going around. I was like, you killed my brother, and I'm gonna kill you.
He was basically.
We're gonna have a street fight.
Yep. So that's what that would have been like in the 90s. It would have been Jason Statham, and it's like, all right, here's your character. You're basically a supervillain. You're basically a rich guy. You're part of the secret society of rich people who just want to do bad things, so they want to become supervillains. That's essentially what Nemesis is. It's like, yeah,
American Psycho.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, very much American Psycho.
Yeah, imagine American Psycho, but
if
like,
he has superpowers,
he's a supervillain, and he has superpowers. He has tech. He basically is Batman. Imagine if it. Oh wow, it's
that don't work. I got to keep it a buck. That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work.
Cringe Lord.
You gotta read the comic though. Like get the full like, you know, absorption first, and then let's come back and have this conversation, because like I feel like you could have
Uncle John, call me like verbally. Call me and tell me. I need to hear your.
Go read that comment first. I need you to read the comment first before we get out the discussion.
And to see how far you actually get, if you even bother to get that far. I got like 4 panels in, and I was like, "Fuck this shit."
What? Dude, it was all action.
Bro, he murders a whole bunch of like. No,
he murders
cool,
police
cool
chiefs
with that,
like
bro.
indiscriminately,
and it's all like over the top world leader.
You got the white man murdering the police and getting away with it, bro. That's wild. Yep. That's wild, bro. That
again, sometimes you got to have that schlocky, like just like over the top action flick consumption.
Because I mean, on one end of it, it is okay. This is the question that I got for y'all. We talking about Nemesis right now. This is crazy. But the question I got for you though is, in terms of that kind of content and the violence and stuff like that, in my experience in following this medium, that works if you're trying to do a grand deconstruction of a character, of a genre, or of a trope. Does Nemesis lean into some of that, or is it just gratuitous for the sake of being gratuitous?
No, it's just gratuitous. Look,
I'm about to say, brother, it's Mark Millar.
Yeah.
Specialized in that.
Okay, here's the thing.
And I say that respectfully, because I like some of his stuff. Again,
if this movie was made with like a gun to Tarantino's head, he would be the guy to make this. It would be under his purview, because like his grind. If he made Grindhouse, and instead of doing like Planet Terror, and he said, "Hey, you got to do Nemesis," I think this would fit.
Him doing Nemesis on a budget, I can already imagine that.
Oh yeah, like I mean, there's not really anything special that you'd have to do for it. I mean, like even like in the plane scene that happened like the first issue, it's like that's still pretty doable. Like, you know, a little bit of CG, whatever. But it's like it's pretty tame. But it's like, yeah, it's essentially it's like, hey, mustache twirling guy who just he's essentially the mix of the Joker. It's like, I just want to see the world burn because like I'm bored, I'm rich, and I want to destroy things. And I want to test my skill against this police chief and see who's the better man.
No,
a better man after having all that money.
I want to catch a fade with the police chief just to test my own limits.
Yeah,
Man.
and honestly, this guy, like, the way he wrote it too was kind of weird because like the police chief is just like middle of the road. Like he could have been like what's his name? Kevin Costner, literally, because he's just like very like plain white bread, like middle of the road white dude, police chief. Nothing special about him.
I think is Nemesis still going? Is that still in publication?
Yeah, it is, and it sucks.
Run right now.
I'm not gonna lie, like
he does. Mark Millar's weird. He does like runs. He'll stop and he'll go do another book, and then he'll pick up like a few years later. Still waiting on Ambassadors too. Fucking still waiting on Ambassadors too.
Yeah, so Nemesis Reloaded is garbage. They got Jorge Jimenez to do the art. Art is fire, and the story was like so bad that I couldn't read it. That's how bad it was. And he basically, because like he left it on the cliffhanger for like the first series, where it's like, oh, there's like the main boss from like the secret society who like called the police chief, and you don't see him. He's like Dr. Claw. You don't see him at all. He's just on a beach. It's like, hey, I would advise you to like not look for us at all. You know, I would really advise you to like just stay away from like whatever certain area, and things will be better for you. It just hangs up. And it's like hinting towards like, okay, there's going to be another person, another rich supervillain coming down the works from this society of rich dudes who are bored and just want to become supervillains.
Nah, bro, that don't work for me, brother.
Nah, all right. All right, well, hey, I tried to make a case for it. I lost. I respect that. Bail is set, denied. Court is adjourned.
Oh man, that's crazy, bro. But
Uncle Jack.
Yeah, what up, man?
How do you feel about the idea that Hollywood is now doing like video game adaptations? Or it looks like we're about to get into the video game realm.
Hey,
was it you that posted about Street Fighter?
Yep.
And then they're doing Elden Ring next. Elden Ring.
So I'm assuming you're not even watching.
From your favorite studio,
A24.
Yes. we'll see if that's a dumpster fire or it's the most amazing shit we've ever seen.
A24 is doing Elden Ring. They're not an independent studio no more. They're like
they make.
So you saying wait, hold on, wait.
They got a little bit of that.
They not an independent studio if they tackling like IP or if like the budget spikes. Because like for me, I appreciate the fact that they budgets have always been manageable. So I've always seen them say, okay, y'all like doing your own thing over there.
Yeah,
but if they start making like 200 million budgets, then they're not an independent studio.
Well, it might take a little while for them to get there. They got a good formula, but them doing Elden Ring in a way it does kind of seem like it's in that lane because they also did the Green Knight a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and I mean that was a fantasy epic type movie, so. But no, what you saying, D. Smith? I mean, it makes sense because we're at the end of the line for the superhero shit, bro. Like, we've maxed out all of our superhero points.
Kevin Feige has maxed out all his credit cards.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, hoping that Fantastic Four one don't.
Well, look, and I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still going to be films that come out that are going to be hits. Like the next Spider-Man movie is going to be a hit. I mean, the Avengers movies are going to be hits. Like, people are going to go see those films. Eventually, one of these days, they're going to make an X-Men movie that people go out and watch, right? But what they got to figure out is what's our next thing that we can eat off of until the next thing comes. And with video games, we're the generation of people that grew up on video games. We're the generation of people who are still spending money to go to the movies right now. So you got to make something that appeals to us. Every studio should be in the business of trying to adapt a video game. Like Minecraft cleared $1 billion in 2 months. And by and large, I think that movie's probably terrible, dog.
It is.
I mean, it's for the, like you said, it's for the generation that it applies to.
It is.
Right. Now, what I'll say is this though. Do I ever think we'll get to a point where a film that's based on a video game is like nominated at the Academy Awards? We got a long way to go.
Hey man, that's what Druckmann was shooting for with Last of Us, but you know we're not hitting that. Not hitting that.
Man, that was
that
a
first season. Like
wonder.
had people wondering though. They was like, "Ooh, video games. I think this is a fertile ground." But you got too much dumpster fire in the comment section from all the man babies who crying about like Joel dying. It's like, hey man, you killed my Avatar insert character, man. I don't appreciate that.
Man, oh my god. I got through episode 2, and then it was kind of like, nah, I'm gonna just watch the NBA playoffs. I'm keeping it real, bro.
Like, nah, I'm good.
I'm gonna just watch the playoffs, man. Like overall, I never played The Last of Us. I never played those games.
I never finished it.
Okay, no, those games are worth playing. Those games are like nominated for a reason.
But
as
like,
far as adaptation, yeah.
But I
we're
mean, bro,
still not there yet.
But can I say this though? I mean, Lee and Clementine kind of did the Joel and Ellie thing
way better.
Wait, who?
Way better.
Wait, the Telltale Walking Dead video game.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh man, bro, those games came out like a year apart from each other. Very similar dynamic, and you know, Lee and Clementine are also 2 black characters as well.
Oh yeah, Clementine is light skinned, isn't she?
Yeah.
Wait, so there was a Walking Dead video game?
Yeah, yes.
It's like it's a choose your adventure style Walking Dead video game. It's separate.
Wait, so it's an actual Walking Dead video game, or like in the vein of Walking Dead?
It's set in the universe with the same characters.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah,
and I ain't never heard of it.
Yeah, it's
worth your time. Worth your time.
And like The Last of Us came out a year after that with a similar dynamic between those 2 characters and kind of just took off. But
yeah, okay, but here the whole dynamic between like the guy or like the older figure and the young figure, obviously that's not new. That goes all the way back to like, you know, Shogun, or not Shogun Assassin, but like Lone Wolf and Cub. But like it's taken off in like many different movies. I mean, like they did the same thing with like Mandalorian Grogu. I feel like there's several of them I can't think about right now, but they're there.
I mean, they did it with Logan.
Yeah, Logan. That's another one.
You know, they did it with they did it with Rogue and Wolverine in the first X-Men movie. Like,
yeah,
damn near for a large chunk of that. But I like that he was kind of the father figure for a hot second in that movie.
Yeah,
they pushed him to the front where it's like, yeah, like you're supposed to be feral, but you're also like you're too sexy, and you know we got to have you around. So like you also got to be a little bit of like a leader too as well. So
right, and your character is over 200 years old, so you know that plays a part in it too.
Some people argue that it's like, oh, he's 200 years old. Okay, so that brain should be, you know, start to deteriorate a little bit. So maybe he shouldn't be as smart, making all these dumb decisions. He's like reversing. He's like was it Benjamin Buttoning?
Oh man. but yeah, bro. Like all I'm saying, man, I'm with the video game adaptations. I'm not as excited as I was a couple years ago. Yeah. Like, I'm just not as excited. I'd like to see a Metal Gear Solid, but that was supposed to come out, like that was supposed to be in production in 2019, bro.
Yeah. See, I never was big into Metal Gear. I've always appreciated it from afar, but like, I question its translatability.
Me too. I agree.
Because like, look what happened with Resident Evil.
Yep.
They're trying again, by the way.
They need to stop. Yeah, it's done.
We'll see.
I mean, and I will say this though, like they've done it so many times that like they've ran out of their credits. But it's like, hey, look what happened. And I think y'all didn't like it, but so I will say this: I liked it, I appreciate it. But like the Mario Brothers movie, like I appreciated it for what it was.
Yeah, I did. That's all we had, bro. I like it
Wait, you
because
talking the OG? The
No,
OG
not the
or the
OG
one
one.
that
I'm
just
talking about
came
the
out?
third one.
Oh,
Nah,
okay.
See, the OG one is the one where it's like, no, that's an acid trip. Like, hey, I'm like trying to get high watching like on a Saturday, afternoon with some friends.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's Tucker and Dale versus Evil. No, I'm talking about like the cartoon recent one. See, like I appreciate that because like, hey, they admitted it's like, yo, we're not gonna try to translate this into like live action. It's just not gonna work. So, same thing with Tekken. There was no.
That was
Okay,
bad.
I take that back. I feel like it could have been possible, but just the
it
way
could
they
have been a
approached
little
it,
bit
like
better.
they were like, nah, like we don't have the confidence to try to make something like
Wasn't
real?
it straight to DVD?
It
The-
did. It
yeah.
did. Yep.
Oh, you're right.
It
Did
did.
go to movie theaters. It didn't.
I just
Dead
remember.
or Alive came out in theaters.
Okay, I kind of enjoyed it, but it's still trash.
Yeah,
Like I just remember it's like, oh, okay, so like
It's a
this is basically
popcorn
what
movie.
Tekken could be.
Dead or Alive was a popcorn movie.
Right.
That's-
And I think, to be honest with you, I think that the video game adaptations are better suited for streaming format anyways. Like the Fallout TV show on Amazon was really good. I like that show a lot, bro. I fuck with
Yeah.
that show.
I'm probably not
That
gonna
was-
play that game, but it's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
like the show.
I wish
Yeah.
Rockstar would get their shit together so we could get a Red Dead TV show.
Oh, okay. I thought you was gonna
But you
say,
would say, yeah, it's
Grand
like,
Theft Auto too. I would actually want that. Set it in the city we haven't seen before.
Mm-mm,
Because they're all only loosely connected any damn way.
mm-mm, nope. That is Grand Theft
At this
Auto is
point-
unadaptable.
at this point, they might as well
Unadaptable.
just-
At this
they might-
point, I would agree.
I'm gonna need them just to resurrect Midnight Club Racing and go and just lean into that. I'm still
Dog.
waiting on that. I'm
Oh,
probably
we
gonna
had
hold
a
my breath till
whole-
I die, but like
brother, we did a whole like fucking format of how they could do Midnight Club, bro, on
I
this
don't even
podcast.
play racing games anymore because I'm still hurt. It's like I'm waiting for my racing game to come back. I'm not playing
Yeah.
Gran Turismo. I'm not
Nope.
playing Need for Speed. I want
Nope.
Midnight Club Racing.
We not playing Forza. We not
Nope.
doing none of that.
Nah.
We ain't doing none of that. Midnight Club, and D Smith is mad because you didn't say Need for Speed, but
No, I'm not mad. I would like Need for Speed, but I understand.
Yeah,
But,
it didn't really hit for me like that. So I was like, just give me Midnight Club Racing. Like, there's certain
Midnight
things that
Club.
like I would love for them to bring back, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I guess in their minds, it's like it's run its course. Like, for instance, I was a huge Prince of Persia fan. Like when they brought it back, like for the PlayStation, and I was like, yo, I'm feeling this. And then after the third one, it got like kind of downhill, and they tried reviving it back with like some like weird, like kind of like anime-ish kind of style video game. Like one of them, like this is deep Japanese video game, kind of like cell shaded style. It was like it didn't hit, and it just like died on the vine. Yeah, there's certain video games that like I really think that it would be great if they continue. Like I would love for them to bring back I was about to say Nemesis, but like Infamous, the superhero video game. That was pretty dope for what it was.
it was too
late.
early. It was too early.
Too early back then, too late now.
I think it was too early for the era because that was right before the superhero wave took off. Infamous was fire, bro.
Yes,
Yeah. You know what that makes me think of? It makes me when you say that, it makes me think of Heroes. Yeah,
but
like
he
Heroes
was
would have
Static
did better.
Shock anyway. Realistically,
Essentially,
he was just
Static
Static
Shock, but with like the morality bend to it, where it's like choose your destiny. You want to be bad or you
Infamous
want to be good.
But on the topic, look, before we get out of here, there is one thing just to bring this full circle. We talking about bringing things back, right?
Yep.
Okay, so this might get controversial, but I'm happy that the Boondocks never came back.
Really?
Yes. I'm happy that the Boondocks never came back. And I'll tell you why. Right? I feel like for the time that show existed in, like that era of entertainment specifically, it worked perfectly. It was perfect for that era.
Yeah.
Aaron Magruder had the kind of creative freedom that he had, and he also had the platform and the viewership to get off what he needed to get off. The way that he went at BET, the way that he went at Tyler Perry, the way he went at George Bush, it was unfiltered. and I don't like using the term sensitivity, but the level of artistic freedom that he had then, I don't think he would have it now, bro. I
Not in
think that
this
it would
climate,
be a
no.
diminished version. You disagree?
No, I said, yeah, no, not in this climate. No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be able to get that off the same way, bro. I was hurt too. I was hurt when it was announced that it wasn't coming back, but there's a part of me that's like, you know what? I'm kind of glad that we didn't have to go through that and go through the internet bullshit. Oh, well, this isn't as good as the original anyway.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. I feel like now that you have that vacuum, it's kind of like, something's trying to fill it. And it's not like it caused a bunch of waves, but like then you get shows like, Good Times trying to come and say, oh yeah, you like the Boondocks? We could be
bad.
Ghetto Trashy too. You remember the PJs? Yeah, we could be Ghetto Trashy. Nah. And I feel like we're about to get like a bunch of these like to-be wannabe versions of the Boondocks.
Right.
And that's my only fear. Is that
Right.
that's my fear is that's gonna be the new power grab. It's like, oh, bet Boondocks ain't around. Cool, I'm just doing my thing. Whatever. It's gonna be like crumping, like I said. It's like, oh, I don't know how to break dance. I can't do hard blocking. So I'm a crump.
But let me ask you this though. I always felt that Atlanta was like the closest thing we ever got to the Boondocks.
Basically. Yeah.
Culturally, Atlanta was as close as we ever got to it. It was different, but it was still similar enough for me to be like, damn, like that hits. Because the Boondocks was funny. It was animated and all of that, but there was something to take away from every episode.
It was commentary, cultural commentary.
And they didn't overdo it, though. It wasn't heavy-handed. It was fucking perfect, bro. It was perfect.
Well, it was doing exactly what the comics did. It was like the satire. It was like, yeah, I'm making like kind of a backhanded joke, but like this is real.
Right.
Yo, next time we get on here, man, we got to talk about like the end, because I think meme culture killed satire.
Meme culture killed subtlety.
Yes. You can't being in on the joke doesn't really
right. Ironic.
Yeah, irony.
And that self-awareness shit with that Rick and Morty self-awareness. Rick
and Morty disgusts me, yo. I will never watch that show.
I say that as someone who loves some of the early seasons. Can't read
like as in the first season.
3.
The only season that matters.
Nah, bro, you right. Subtlety, like all of that is just out of the window. But I wanted to kind of get y'all's take on that because that Aaron Magruder speech that he did in DC 20 years ago, it popped up on my timeline and like it's been getting a lot of traction. And just listening to some of what he said and then watching interviews that he did talking about his process of writing the Boondocks, there's no way he's getting that much creative space to get that shit off, bro, in 2025. There's no way.
So I must have been out of the loop, but like, what did he specifically say? Or like, what's the cliff notes on it?
He was, bro, it was, I'll say what?
Aaron Magruder C-SPAN, if I looked it up, it'd be the exact thing.
Okay. Yeah. And like, along the lines of what he was saying is like, control your image. The hardest part of what he said the only reason I'm able to get angry black politics on a mainstream platform is because my characters are cute.
That's power moves right there, because that's exactly what is that? What's the movie I'm thinking about? Inception. Yep. Remember in Inception, the only reason why they were able to pull off this like mind heist, which essentially what it was, because like DiCaprio's character said, it's like, okay, so how are we gonna do this? And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, whatever, he basically says like, oh, well, what if we guilt tripped into it? He's got this like issue with his daddy. We can press the daddy issue. He's like, no, we got to do something that's more cathartic, something that's more deeper, something to get him to think that this is embedded so deep in his head that he thinks it's his own idea. And that's the whole, that cute angle. That's the soft blow. That's the sugar that makes the poison go down.
Right. And then he put a spin. And he was talking about the comic strip. And then with the TV show, he was ahead of the curve in using the anime style animation.
Dude, he was on the tip. It's like, oh, I know what blurs are, and I know what they like, and they about to eat this joint up. That's man. I wish I could take a time machine back into like the conversations with my friends, like in high school. It's like, yeah, it's like when that Tyler Perry episode came out, man, we were like dying. The Booty Warrior, dying.
Did you ever see the BET episodes that never aired? Did you ever see those?
Wait, they never aired?
I ain't seen them in a while.
Wait, the one where he was like commentary on like, what's her name? I'm forgetting like the woman he used to own, CEO of BET. Yeah, that one. I saw the episode.
Nah, but there was okay. Was it the Uncle Ruckus reality show? Like, I just got chills thinking about that, bro. Like, that shit was scary, man. What did the character say? The Reggie Hudlin character was like, "You think we put it?"
It came after Reggie.
You didn't know that?
No, I guess I must have missed that. Okay, so that must have been one of the episodes I missed.
Yeah, bro. There was like, yeah, that one got pulled, but like the Reggie Hudlin character is talking to Uncle Ruckus, and he's like, "You think we put this shit on because it's entertaining? You think we sit in a boardroom and say, yeah, we should make a Baldwin Hills reality TV show,
bruh? I watched Baldwin Hills. God.
We hate black people."
Wait, was that in the BET boardroom?
Yeah, bro. Like,
okay, I think I did see that episode. No,
man, like I got chills thinking about that. Like, the Boondocks was right on the edge of comedy, education, and like low-key kind of horror, bro. Like, there was some scary, like, man, the chicken and all of that, bro. And then you fast forward, the niggas fighting at Popeyes over chicken sandwiches.
And then also they did like an episode in Atlanta about that. It's like same thing. It's still around. It's still a thing. That's what the episode was like. It's still a thing.
Yo, so but on that note, bro, we just hit 2 hours, dog. We gonna get back into this, man. This was a great cookout, but yeah, bro. So on the way out, this is what I'm gonna ask y'all, man. If there's one cookout invitation, who gets the invitation to the cookout? CS3, the floor is yours. Who gets the invitation to the cookout?
We talking about just anybody or like someone who shouldn't be at the cookout but gets an exception?
I mean, everybody's technically an exception.
I feel like if I had like one ticket and I'm giving it to somebody, I'm giving it to somebody who needs to be redeemed. Someone who needs to be like detox. And in my mind, I think she's way past it, but I'm gonna say, hey, Stacey Dash, man, like, listen, come up, we'll take you back, but you gotta get off that stuff. We'll get you clean. This is your one chance. Man. Come on, Stacey, come back.
Yo, her skin color don't even look the same.
No.
I mean, she basically did Michael Jackson joint, but it looks depressing.
No, she did that dyed her skin.
Yeah,
and that's before she started,
Yeah, I mean, she not coming back. But I'm just saying, like, if I had one ticket, it would be like get somebody back. It's like, hey,
okay, I get you. So you
revive,
I like that.
That's what my heart said. It's like the revival's like, come back over. We got you. We'll accept.
I like that.
The prodigal black. That's what I call
it. Because she was the token. She was the original token black chick, man.
Pretty much, because like it was either her or Tyra Banks, but Tyra Banks was kind of another echelon. She was like, I'm too busy being a diva, so
yeah.
Someone that honorary mention because he's dead, Paul Walker. But
I can see that.
Yeah. But John Brown.
John B.
John Brown. Hey, he was one of us anyway, for real.
Oh man, John B was smooth. I ain't gonna lie, John B was smooth, bro.
He was a little crazy even for us. He's all like, all of them gotta go.
Yeah, John B was damn. Hey, that's crazy, bro.
And if you look at younger pictures of him, he looks like Abraham Lincoln with no beard.
Listen, man, he had the chin strap beard and all of that, bro. I mean, let me think on the invite to the cookout, man. Shit. This is tough.
Can we take people's invite that like had one, but like like for instance, like now that Channing Tatum and Zoe ain't together, it's like, hey, bro, we gotta take that invite back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We smooth just pulled. We grabbed that from his hands and just yanked that shit.
It's like, sorry, man. Like,
and expect him to try to fight back.
Your reason to be here is no longer valid.
You know what? I'll say this. He's no longer with us, but Mr. Rogers can get an invite to the cookout.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I don't even.
He gets invites to everybody's house.
He's the honorary speaker.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers can get an invite to the cookout. Mr. Rogers can even stand behind the grill for a little bit, bro.
Oh, for real? Okay, he gets to throw down on the grill.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers can throw down on the grill because Mr. Rogers love the kids, man. You said he can make the hot dogs. He can make
the one episode where he like literally clapped back at people. Was like, oh, you had to like. They ain't say it, but like, oh, you had a nigger on your episode? I was like, yeah, I did. Okay, you don't like that? Guess what? I'm having another episode where we're in the pool together with his ashy black feet. Yeah, you gonna look at them feet.
And in this era that we live in, bro, like the world needs more people like Mr. Rogers.
Absolutely.
Okay, question. This is okay. Let's put these tables for another discussion. Who are the Mr. Rogers of today's time? Do we even have any Mr. Rogers? None.
Nope.
Not publicly.
Nope.
Not known very publicly, at least.
Nope.
Another honorary mention, Bob Ross.
Shout out to Bob Ross.
He would entertain the children. He'd entertain the kids. Have them painting.
Yeah.
Have all the kids painting.
Bob Ross is gonna come through with the pack, but that's where we cut it right there. But look, man. On that note, CS3, appreciate you pulling up. D Smith,
absolutely. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Bro, my son is gonna be 1 year old on Wednesday, man. Congratulations, bro. Yeah, we got here. This year went by too fast, man. I gotta get right back into the trenches, man. Shout outs to brother Dion up in Boston, brother Charles A over in the motherland, Troy, everybody in the Discord, Money Making Margin, Behind the Scene Podcast. We cooked this shit today, y'all. We out of here, man. We out. Peace. All right.